So, game 2 of the quarterfinals. So I'm going to predict a slight change of leads here. And he's going to bring his Zapdos instead of his Swampert. So I'm going to bring my Salamence and Excadrill here, because I want to threaten the Gardevoir with the one shot with the Iron Heads. But something I didn't consider going into the leads was that his Gardevoir could trace my Salamence's Intimidate and intimidate both my physical attackers, which is exactly what happens. So my Excadrill, I don't think, can no longer one-shot this Gardevoir. So I am actually forced to double into it with an Iron Head and Frustration. I could have got a Dragon Dance up if there was no Intimidates, because he would have probably gone for Tailwind or Heat Wave, as I was suspecting, to knock out the Excadrill. But I am forced to double into the Gardevoir. He is going to Mega Evolve, because, you know, there's no point leaving it as normal Gardevoir, getting more Intimidates off if he switches out, because I would have already Mega Evolved. I'm just stalling because Mega Evolutions take time. Iron Head into the Gardevoir isn't enough to knock out this Gardevoir. It just misses out the knockout. So I am pleased that I managed to double into it with the Frustration as well, because he would have probably got off either a Trick Room or a Hyper Voice. Given that he went for Heat Wave, which I did suspect, rather than Tailwind, he was most likely going for Trick Room. So it is very good that I managed to double into it and knock it out. But he does get the burn on my Excadrill, which makes it completely useless for the rest of the matchup. But it did do its job by getting rid of the Gardevoir. So now, the only thing that could really threaten my Salamence is this Swampert. So again, I make a very risky play here, because this Protect on Salamence is so obvious that I go straight for the Dragon Dance, because I don't think he will attack into my most likely Protect, which actually pays off really nicely, because he flinches with the Zapdos, so my Excadrill did do something else, and he does actually attack into my Excadrill, knocking it out, which actually works out really nicely for me, because the Excadrill was offering nothing, so I was hoping he would knock it out. Was probably hoping for a Heat Wave and then an Earth Power into it, but that worked out really nicely with the flinch. May have been going for Tailwind of his own, which is actually the most likely one. So he's going to switch out his Swampert, because I do threaten with the one shot with a Frustration into his Ferrothorn, which again was a nice switch up on his part. And I'm going to go for the Frustration onto what was the Swampert, onto the Ferrothorn, and I get a critical hit onto it, and it still survives a +1 Frustration, which is very impressive. It does show that it's a very defensive Ferrothorn as well, especially implied with the Rocky Helmet. But he is going to go for the Thunderbolt onto the Salamence, not enough to knock it out, and I am able to get out my own Tailwind. So he chose not to go for any speed control with his Zapdos at all, so I am going to outspeed for the rest of the match. He's going to protect his Ferrothorn, but again, I predict that very nicely and go for the Giga Impact onto the Zapdos. So with the tiny bit of chip with the Excadrill with the Iron Head, I think the Frustration would actually put it just over the edge of the activating the Citrus Berry, given the last match's damage. But Giga Impact actually does roughly the same, so I must have got a high damage roll with the Frustration last match and a low one with the Giga Impact this one, but I am actually bailed out with another critical hit onto the Zapdos. So he could probably got a knockout onto my Salamence there, leaving me with just the Serperior and the Suicune, but that would have still been an advantageous position, because I would have threatened the knockout. Double knockout both turns, so I am able to knock out this Ferrothorn with an Ice Beam, and I have to recharge with my Salamence, so this gives him a free opportunity to knock it out, but he is just down to his Swampert left, and I do have my Serperior in the back. So again, this game was a very much quicker one, but it is pretty much locked down, as long as I don't miss the Leaf Storms, so long as I can like burn with Scald if I do miss the Leaf Storms, but I am able to connect with this Leaf Storm, and I am able to take this quarterfinal. So I'm still undefeated in the tournament at this point, going into the semi-finals, so let's see how I do there.